What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Finding Freedom. So in this episode, I'm going to go into what is finding freedom? Where did the name come from? Why is it here? Why am I doing this? And well, before other people try to call me crazy, I want to break down the name, the origin, the purpose, our mission, and who we help in finding freedom. So the origin of the name actually comes from my father and his friends and, everybody else, his brothers that grew up together, that the original movie Fast and the Furious was based off of. Obviously, Ralph Estevez was Racer X. That was a good friend of my father's. I have pictures. I think I could put them up later on, or they're somewhere on my social media. You guys could check it out. But because of the movie and what it depicted, right? Yes, in the movie, Vin Diesel's character was deemed a criminal, but he was almost like a Robin Hood of criminals, right? So he would steal from the rich bad guys and give to the poor, so on and so forth. And there was something about that just resonated within me, because I grew up watching Aladdin, Robin Hood, and all these things, Batman, so on and so forth, shows like Hustle and so on and so forth. So when I decided on a name, I wanted to pay homage to Fast and the Furious as a thank you for everything, right? So I took the F and the F, and the premise of the movies that have came out, right? Do good, right? And then if you watch Suits, which is really popular on Netflix now, Harvey Specter says something in the first season, and he's working with a cop at the time. And after they do something, they say, sometimes good guys have to do bad things to make the bad guys pay. And I think that's very interesting, because in Fast and the Furious, that's exactly what happened, right? There's many stories like this, but that's where the origin of the name came from. Now, when it comes to finding freedom, if you ever seen the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer or Finding Forrester with Sean Connery, where there was a black student in an Ivy League school, and the words that he read that everybody thought, he wrote actually came from the student that was a friend of his. The student was just shy. He got told that he plagiarized, so on and so forth, etc. And I've lived this throughout my life, whether that be, Good Will Hunting and getting in trouble because people finding out that I'm actually just lazy, or whatever the case may be. Now, when it comes to finding freedom, there was a movie that came out, Searching for Bobby Fischer. And if you remember the movie, there's a little boy in it, and the boy's playing chess in the park. And one of the things that I found fascinating, the gentleman who plays Morpheus is in the movie, and they're playing chess, and he learns how to play street chess, which is completely different, because in a traditional game you can't speak. It's very quiet. You have a lot of time to think, sort of, and you get to process. Well, in the street, they're hustling, so they're playing you while they're talking to you, having a conversation, so on and so forth, and all these things are happening while you're trying to strategize, so on and so forth. And the same thing happens in the military when you go through training. They make it as chaotic as possible to see if you could still function under pressure. And I thought that was, fascinating, because most people can't function under pressure. So why not show them an easier way of how to do so? Now, when it comes to finding freedom, well, a lot of people live in this country, but they don't feel free, right? They're searching for more money. They're searching for less taxes. They're searching for, the bargains, the deals, so on and so forth, how to make something of themselves, how to get better, how to educate themselves without dropping boatloads of cash, so on and so forth. So I named it Finding Freedom as an homage to everyone that partook and had a small part to play in my life, that did something good, that stood with me and stood the test of time. Especially with everything that's been going on in the world, especially with stuff that goes on here in North Carolina, so much more. Now, the purpose of Finding Freedom is to help those who can't help themselves, because sometimes people feel as though they tried everything, but they really haven't. So I show them how to use AI, things like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and so much more to better themselves, right? And then you can then apply those skills and go to places like Class Central, where you could get free education, right? And get certifications and then get a higher paying job, right? There's always a loophole to the system. So I wanted to bring that loophole to you guys. Now, our mission is to do this completely free through YouTube. Yes, I'm not going to lie, there will be possibly a paid version because I need to eat and provide shelter, so on and so forth. And if I could upgrade my camera equipment to go ahead and provide better material for you guys, that would be great, whether that's camera equipment or buying the advanced versions of ChatGPT, because, you know, they have different versions now. One's $20 a month, the other one's $100, and then the most advanced is like $200-300 a month. Now, I'm no millionaire or billionaire. I'm just a street kid that grew up, you know, moved to the suburbs. And, you know, if you ever seen the movie Footloose, my aunt said that I was going to probably live that life, and I sure as hell did when I moved down to North Carolina, which is probably why I also left for a variety of reasons. But I definitely ended up leaving and going to the Marines. Long story short, that's what our, you know, our mission, our purpose, and the name Origin, you know, actually does. Where it came from, so on and so forth, etc. Now, as far as people we help those who want to do better, who want to get ahead in life, who are not lost in the sauce, but they just don't know how to think critically anymore, because with technology, it's made people complacent. It's made things easy, right? A smartphone actually is a dumb phone because it makes the user dumb, right? I mean, think about it. If it's making your life easier, what happens when life gets hard, right? If you don't know how to read cursive, how are you going to understand the Constitution, right? Or should I say, how are you going to understand the Constitution, right? You know, I used to say gonna, right? G-O-N-N-A, and someone used to make fun of me for that, call it my speech or whatever the case may be, or my slang or ebonics, but down here they say y'all. Y'all come back now. But anyways, that's just food for thought. Everybody has their own language and everybody has their own thoughts. However, when it comes to wanting to do something more in life, most people don't know what to start, where to start, how to start, etc. So I do this not only for you guys, but as a tribute to my dad, you know, who busted his ass, who took me and my sister to school in the mornings. Not to say my mother didn't have a part. However, my dad did a lot. A hell of a lot. And, you know, I don't think most people give him the credit that he should have gotten. But outside of that, if things could have been different, I'm pretty sure his life would have been different. He probably would have been some kick-ass rock star or living a life like Vin Diesel in Fast and the Furious, right? So, you know, it's one of those things where I'm trying to not only pay it forward, but just to say thank you. And if you ever get to watch this, Pop, you know, I love you. I know things are crazy and hectic, but yeah, it's gonna be built. You know, I had my agency before COVID took it out because, well, there's no book that teaches you how to survive a pandemic. You know, nobody survived the Black Plague or the Spanish influenza or whatever it's called, the Spanish flu or whatever. And then we had COVID, and people told me I was crazy, that business was done in person. You can't work remote. And then, of course, about a year later, people are asking me, how do I use Zoom? How do I use Google Teams? So now that AI is here, I got excited because I, you know, flat out said to myself in private, this is great because people could start moving at my speed. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes I've already processed things a little bit faster than most people. My mother knows this because when she'll ask me a question because I said something was incorrect, she goes, well, explain it. The moment I take a deep breath to go ahead and explain, I'll be like, okay. And she'll stop me and she goes, I don't have that much time. So this is a way to speed up the process and speed up your execution of living a life of freedom. I mean, that's why you came to this country. That's why you stay here. That's why you work here. That's why you pay taxes here. So why not pursue something that should still exist, which I think was originally known as the American dream, you know, if that even is a thing anymore. There was a show called Undercover Billionaire, and, you know, it's hard to say no when there's a whole camera crew in your store. So I decided to go out and venture on my own and do something similar to it, except I'm calling it Debunking Undercover Billionaire. Now, I may get proven wrong and things might work out. However, I don't have a camera crew. I have a cell phone that I got from Walmart, so on and so forth, and, you know, the plan, etc., to show you that it could, with $105, right? The phone costs $50, the plan costs $55, and it comes with Google's Gemini already attached to it, which is integrated into Google's Workspace. Now, that means you don't need Microsoft Office because, well, Google provides all those tools for free. So if you're wanting to do better, if you want to get ahead, if you want to pursue freedom and find it for yourself, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and buckle up because this is going to be one hell of a ride. Take care. God bless. Peace.